part two. This is going to be part two of my new action cam vid. So what you're going to see is actual footage of I've gone to one of my favourite fishing spots, obviously to test out the video quality and the sound quality. And as it happens, as you'll see, the video quality is excellent, and actually the sound quality is really good. There is a bit of wind buffeting. When I turn my back to the wind, obviously the buffeting goes away. When I'm facing it, there is a fair bit of wind buffeting, but it does not drown out the audio. So that's pretty good, because that's what I was afraid of, that when you were actually facing the wind, and obviously, you know, when you got wind off the ocean, it's there all the time pretty much. Buffeting would have been buffeting noise would have been a problem, but no, as it happens, it's turned out pretty good. So now you're going to go ahead and see that footage. There's a ton of it, and I've tried to compress a heap of it and speed it up, but I do hope you watch it all, because I do touch on some issues that are facing us at the moment, and very pertinent, especially here in North Queensland. So hope you enjoy and watch it all, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so this is going to be the start of part two of me getting to grips with my first action cam. This when you hold in your hands like this, even like when I was watching all the reviews of all the different action cams, they do not give you a very good indication of just how small the unit is. Like when I actually opened the box up and saw it, it was just, I'm like, what? That is absolutely tiny. One thing that I forgot to say is regarding, you do need a memory card. There's no internal memory. Now, the memory card that I put into it is the SanDisk Extreme, the right card for your action camera. So with the quality action cams, right, even this cheap one, it's a quality one, what you need is the maximum memory card that it can take is a 64 gigabyte. All right, so that's it. Can't take a 128. You don't need a 128, but the maximum is a 64 gig. So you need a 64 gig. You need a U3, and you need class 10. So U3, you have to specify that, a U3 class 10. And the maximum size is 64 gigabytes. That's something that I didn't mention. And the actual memory card slot is in the same compartment as the battery compartment. It's just sits up. When you've got the camera facing down, you put the battery in, and there's a small slot under the actual battery where the battery sits. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. But anyway, so there you've got that information. So have a look at the vid. And I do cover a few different topics, and it's not all just boring. Well, it probably is for most people, but hey, that's me. So I hope you enjoy it. So enjoy the vid. Here we are at my favourite spot. A bit of a look around. There's the boat. Not sure what's going on with that boat. Never seen anyone on it. Never seen anyone getting on it or off it. Whether it's derelict, I have no idea. But let's make sure this thing's recording. Yep. There's not much sand poking out. I'm going to have a fair old weight out there. Oh well. I'm a little early, it's still a bit high. Usually it's mostly sand most of the way, but yeah. I just hope I don't get this camera wet, because I haven't got it in its waterproof case, because the sound quality probably isn't going to be all that good to begin with. But once it's in that case, yeah, you pretty much forget about sound quality. People, when I tell people what I do, I actually wade out to this sandbar that's ahead of us. One of the first questions that they ask is, "Oh no, aren't you afraid of getting eaten by a crocodile?" And you know, the crocodiles around here are pretty well fed, and human beings are really not a normal food source, a natural food source for them. Yeah, people do get eaten, but only if you're doing really stupid things. You know, if you're a tourist from overseas and you're watching this, and you're thinking about coming here to Northern Australia, where we do have a lot of crocodiles, man-eating crocodiles, potentially, there's just a few rules that you got to follow. One of those rules is don't have a routine, a regular routine. If you're near a waterway that has crocs, don't have a regular routine. You know, don't get up in the morning and go down to the river and especially dumping food scraps. You know, that's a big no-no. Sort of, I suppose you can compare that to what not to do with bears. You know, don't dump your food scraps. This is getting a bit deep because it does attract wildlife. So yeah, don't have a regular routine if you're near a waterway that's got crocodiles. And the other thing is, you have to be very wary, especially at night. You know, don't camp close to a waterway at night and expect not to get eaten. Because if you're in your lovely little sleeping bag, sleeping on the ground, what you're going to be is, oh, there's a ray. There's a lot of stingrays that hang around here. I have stepped on a couple at times when I've been wading through here, and even when I've stepped on them, they haven't hurt me. They haven't stung me because they're not aggressive. They are not naturally aggressive animals. I think you'd have to really be stomping on them. Because one time I stood on a stingray's wing, and it was flapping around and freaking out, and then almost fell over. I couldn't get my balance, so I didn't really get off its wing in as quick as I would have liked. But that stingray, it was just freaking out. It did not sting me at all. So yeah, probably crocodiles is the biggest worry, but I can quite honestly say that I've never ever seen a crocodile here where I fish. Right? Ever. I've been fishing here for over 10 years, so doesn't mean that they're not here, but nah, you know, they've got other places to be. I haven't seen it, but I've been told that they do hang out at the boat ramp at times because people dump their fish scraps, like some of the smaller ones. They'll hang out there, but yeah, so what? They don't bother people. They're just after fish scraps, and there's a lot of mullet, in this area, so they're after the mullet. Where can I put this bag? Where it doesn't fall over and into the drink, because it's got spare batteries in my phone. Put it right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now I'll have a bit of a I have a bit of a cast. I've got this shrimp pattern on here, prawn pattern. I'll just untangle the line. It's getting in there. It's better. Yeah, I don't think I'll catch anything. I don't aim to catch anything. I'm just testing out the camera. This is obviously the first fishing footage that I've got of it, and see how we go. Well, in about half an hour, most of this in front will be out of the water. It doesn't take long, but I didn't want to leave it too long because it's, what's the time? It's 4:15, so the sun's starting to go down. Or that wasn't very. I bought a couple of rods, and I haven't totally got the hang of what they like to cast with. Yeah, they're all quite different. That's not far enough. It's only a light lure, this. Probably too light for this rod, but tweak. See if there's anything out there. Yeah, I don't normally wade out in this deep water for the reason of Mr. Lizard. But for the sake of my viewers, I'll chance it. Although there was an old Dutch gentleman who I remember I came out. He used to come here all the time. He had a house around the corner, and he used to come here all the time. And one time, I thought I was early. You know, I was wading through, you know, water a little bit shallower than this, and I said to him, "God, you know, when did you get here? How long have you been here?" And he said, "Oh, I waded through when it was up to my tits," which I was just like, "You are kidding me." I said, "You know, aren't you afraid to get anything?" But he said, "Nah." But he said the same thing. I've never seen a crocodile here, so yeah. But I definitely wouldn't be wading through it when it's up to my tits. That's just, yeah, that's silly. So, if we can get something, and this is looking straight into the sun, so that's not much good. So what I'll do is I'll do some casting on an angle. Unfortunately, I'm casting into the wind here, so I might change direction. That's one of the reasons why I can't get it to go all that far. Might go the other way and let's see what I can do. What is that in the water? Looks like, I don't know, a dead fish. See that in the water? Looks like a dead fish. I'm still recording, yes. Alright, so I'll have a go at casting this way. It is quite shallow here still. There's sort of an edge. There's a bit of a drop off. There, here we go. There's a bit of a drop off from here. So yeah, it's a bit further. I should be casting it right up against the mangroves, because that is where they do hang out. But you do get, right now with the depth of the water and the speed that it's travelling at, you do get fish cruising through here. I don't expect to catch anything, as I said. Go a bit. That's a bit closer. Not quite close enough. I need a heavier lure. Probably a different pattern anyway. There wouldn't be any prawns around here now, so I might just change up lures. So I'll go and change lures. I'll just do that. Alright, so we're going to put him on. He looks a lot like some of the bait around here. The what we call feather brim.
So I always use these snaps. People say, oh, you shouldn't use snaps because the fish see it and well, yeah. I've caught plenty of fish with snaps on, so it's just a lot easier to change the lure out with that. That's why they're there. And oh, now I've got shit wrapped around everywhere. And yeah, I'm lazy. Plus, all you're doing each time is cutting it off and just shortening the leader more and more, and then you're going to change the leader again. And yeah, like I said, I'm a bit lazy. But I catch fish with that snap swivel on there. It's only a little one. I mean, if you can convince an animal that that's edible, well, yeah. I don't think a little snap swivel is going to make that much difference, realistically. So we'll have a go casting towards the honey hole over there. Got a lot of fish hanging around there. Natural drain where the bait will congregate up there, hide. When it starts draining out, they can't. There's not much they can do. They have to come out, and oh, don't get snagged. And they don't have a choice. They've got to deal with the yeah, that lure's probably just, oh, he's tangled up. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Oi, oi, oh, that's just about right. Yeah, this not used to this rod, not used to this outfit. So I look like a bit of a Gumby casting compared to I've forgotten his first name now. Fish Creeking Adventures. His casting ability is unbelievable. He's just gives us a slight flick and away she goes. That's pretty much where I want it. Sort of on the right hand side there. That's where the ambushers like to hang out. I've caught heaps of fish just there. But realistically, we're sort of getting there, you know, towards the prime time. I'll go this way too. It's a nice loud rattler, and it does look like the bait, like a herring or a featherbrim. So I'll try and get. Oh, I'm not getting any hits. No. It's been very, very quiet, even with live bait. And if you can't, tangled up again. I don't know. If you can't get anything with live bait, then oh, that sun is putting me off. Let's see what I was doing. If you can't get anything with live bait, then you don't have a whole lot of chances with lures, because hey, live bait is the real thing. That is my preference when I'm fishing for fish to eat. What I'll do is I'll have a hand line in the water. I'll have a rod in the water with live bait, hand line with live bait, or dead, depending. If I can't get live bait, then I will use dead bait. I'll bring dead bait along. And I'll have a hand line in the water, and a rod in the water, and I'll have a luring rod. And because you're only allowed to have 3 lines in the water here in Queensland. Never used to be the case. You could have as many lines as you wanted, as many hooks as you wanted, but yeah, not anymore. They did restrict it, and good on them, as they should have. Yeah, they've sort of, I don't know how strict the policing is, but I know they've tightened the rules up in the period between when I first came here and now, well, they probably tightened it up about probably more than that, probably about 10 years ago they tightened the rules up and said, nah, you can't just come here and rape the place, because there's a particular species. This area where I live, it's very popular with what we call grey nomads, and there were a whole bunch of grey nomads who used to come here every year and just rape the place for one particular species, which is called it's called the grunter, or grunter brim. It's a member of the lute species, which is the same as mangrove jacks and emperors and that, same species, well, same family, nowhere near as good, but they just come here and they just fill their freezers, just rape the place, go back home, and then have fish forever for that year. And because there was no limit, then they put a limit and they said, nah, you can only have 30, only 30. Yeah, they all arced up about it. They all were really unhappy that that restriction got put in place. Well, come on, you know, 30 fish, and you could take them at I think 30 centimetres, 1 foot long. What do you get out of a 1 foot long fish? That's a panfish, you know. I mean, if a fish that size, you fillet it, and yeah, what do you got? Bugger all. Enough to make a fillet, a McDonald's fillet of fish. So they said, nah, 35 from now on, so it's got to be 35 centimetres, the grunt brim. So they were very unhappy, you know, good, stuff them. Bloody foreigners coming here stealing, what is that in the water? I hope that's a log. I see something dark in the water, just there in front of me. I think it's just a log, but I'm not taking any chances, you never know. It'll be the one time that I say, oh, you don't have to worry about crocodiles, and they'll get eaten. So it's pretty obvious there's nothing around here. But I only wanted to come and do a test of the camera. I just feel how hot it is. Yeah, they do get quite warm. This one's not too bad. It's not in the case. When you put them in the waterproof, that's why another reason I haven't got it in the waterproof case, because they do get hot in that case, because there's no ventilation, obviously, because it's waterproof. Now I'm gonna whoa, oh, that's a spot. Is there anything here? It's a whole heap of trees down there. I think they've moved a little bit further downstream, but yeah, they were all over the place. So like I said, still getting a hang of this rod. This lure's too heavy for it, this outfit. Oh yeah, that's a good spot. Come on. Something hit it. Nah. It's been pretty dead here. Not 100% sure why, because it just hasn't stopped raining. You know what I mean? Like on again, off again rain here, which is really strange. Like all year, it's been a very strange year weather-wise. Obviously from climate change. Not global warming, because global warming isn't an issue anymore. It's climate change. Yeah. If I sound like a skeptic, well, there's a guy called Dr. Brian Ridd, and there's a university called John Curtin University. John Curtin was an ex-prime minister during World War II, a bit of a hero in Australia, and so they named this university after him. And what he did was he pointed out that all the hoo-ha about the Great Barrier Reef, you know, basically, you know, on its deathbed, he came out with the real evidence and said, well, no, it's not. It's actually increased in size over the years and is really, really healthy. And the idea that 1 or 2 degrees increase in temperature is going to kill the reef is preposterous, because exactly the same corals live further north and in temperatures of at times more than 2 degrees Celsius above our water temperature. So when he did that, they basically tried to shut him up and just played real dirty pool to shut him up. And he said, no, well, this is the truth. And so eventually they did sack him. But good on people. He did because I think his wife was quite adamant about not letting him get away with that. So I think she was the driving force behind a GoFundMe campaign, and there was some other organisation that helped him out, and so they raised $100,000 legal fund, and then once they it doesn't take long with lawyers to get through that. Once they got through that, I'm just wondering how this wind is going to sound. Once they got through that, they raised another $160,000 GoFundMe to fight the university, because they say that right is might, but too many times might is might. And this university, they're just, I don't know what is going on around the world. They're with the whole climate change thing and everything. There's all this just pure bullshit. And I don't know what it is. I don't know where you almost start to think, who's trying to destroy our civilization by, And I'll tell you what, the Queensland government is one of the worst ones, really. I mean, obviously we're nowhere near as insane as the South Australian government, who, when the lights go out because you have not got baseload power in your state, and your capital city of that state, Adelaide, there's no power for a couple of days, you've got serious problems. And thank God, where I live here in Queensland, we have got to that stage, but we do have a left-leaning government that is just so beholding to the Greens, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. I have no idea why that is. Like, the Greens and these really, idiot fringe groups seem to control everything, and that's not how democracy works. At all. These fringe groups should not be in charge, but they seem to be. I don't know what's going on. So anyway, I'm going to start the walk back now. I was facing the other way because of this wind. I know it's not going to sound well. I'm just interested to see how this electronic image stabilisation works as well. So here we go, way back. You can see how it's a fair bit more out of the water. Well, not a whole lot. Anyway, I'll shut up and walk because this is going to get sped up. Well, that's that little pseudo fishing trip over. It doesn't take me long to get here. It takes about 15 minutes to drive here from where I live, so that's good. Oh, that's a big ship over there. I wonder what he's up to. Look at that thing. That's a serious vessel. That guy's got some cash. Some coconut palms and park here and that. That's the mouth of the creek. This is the creek. Yeah, well, sort of. Well, it is. Alright, I'm going to switch this off now.